Welcome in, Charlotte Soccer Show. John Hayes, Danny Brams.
We're here.
We're finally here on a Sunday at HopFly. Danny Brams, it's an absolute pleasure to see you. I'm so glad you're back from Mexico to enjoy this beautiful weather on a Charlotte Sunday.
I made it back from Mexico, baby, just in time for the rain. It was beautiful in Mexico. It was sunny as hell, and I was loving life. I was absolutely loving life down there. I like to think I got a little sun-kissed from the glorious sunshine down there when I was hanging out at the beach and loving life. Yeah, exactly.
It's the vibe here.
We got DJ Will from Mint City Music here busting the tunes. It's a beautiful thing. People are starting to go nuts here. I think the Mint Street Hop just almost broke out a second ago. I don't know what you think about that. But.
Cheers to you. Hey, we've got a lot to do on the show today.
It's a big day.
I'm absolutely pumped to be here. I'm pumped to see.
Oh, by the way,
match. Yeah,
I learned something in Mexico that I think applies to Charlotte FC that I'm going to be sharing with the class later during this show. So stay tuned for a sermon. My parents were both preachers. I'm the son of a preacher man and a preacher woman, and
that explains a lot.
I got a sermon coming up for y'all for sure. Because it has been happening.
We're going to talk about it here on the pregame show. We're going to hear from Dean Smith, his press conference earlier this week. We're going to hear from Jere Jurnen, who you mentioned. It's kind of like a Finnish Sunday. I feel like this is what the vibe would be in Finland. And we've got a couple Finnish national players on display at the Keep tonight, Danny.
Yeah, so we have Teemu Pukki, the Pukki Party. If you're an English Premier League fan and Norwich fan, you're well acquainted with what Teemu Pukki brings to the floor. Minnesota also features Robin Lode, who's a sort of a veteran workman kind of type of guy in MLS last few years. And he has been doing big things for Minnesota in the absence of Emmanuel Reynoso. So the two Finns, Lode and Pukki, are the danger men for the Loons tonight for sure. And what we have the neutralizer. We have Jere Jurnen. He knows all their moves. We got a guy who knows all their moves. So the Finnish national connection, I predict it plays a big role in tonight's result as far as Jere knowing what these guys are doing.
I'm really excited to see Teemu Pukki for a number of different reasons.
John's a Norwich fan, so he knows Pukki.
I mean, Pukki is somebody that I have supported in the past, that I rooted for when Norwich was coming up from the championship, when they were going to be promoted into Premier League.
No doubt.
And he's somebody that was able to make the jump, Danny, and play really, really well. So as far as strikers that have came into Bank of America Stadium, into the Fortress so far this season, Pukki's at the very top of the list as far as talent is concerned for me.
He's certainly one of the most technically, one of the most accomplished strikers in the league as far as what he's done in his career prior to MLS. Now, I'm going to say this, John, because the comments are starting to come in. Shout out Blaze. Shout out Drake. Shout out Brian Schoford. Johnny, we have fun on this show, so before we get into the nitty-gritty, Brian Schoford is shouting out you for the absolutely fitted look. Explain the look, man. You look so good today.
It's a proper football Sunday in Charlotte.
This guy.
I feel good about it, and I just wanted to meet the occasion is what I wanted to do.
Can you do it on a rainy Sunday evening in Charlotte is the question always. And he's dressed for the occasion, still with notes of blue. You're not, you got the blue in there. So
yeah, you might not be able to see him. By the way, this is a custom-made, tailored shirt that I specifically got to support Charlotte FC.
I love it.
For the record, and that's why it has the black buttons, Danny.
It's beautiful. Yeah, exactly.
And you could even, and I rolled my sleeves up maybe a little too far, but if you take a look at this.
Wow.
You even got a little lavender.
He's even got the purple. He's even got the purple
on the sleeve as well. So
fit for the English weather.
I appreciate that, Brian.
As Latin Fire says.
Latin Fire, somebody, what a great tifos. Never misses an episode. It's great to hear from you, Latin Fire, on this match day Sunday. Dude, I am absolutely pumped right now for this match. I want 3 points so bad, Danny, but I can taste it. What are you drinking?
What are you drinking, baby? I was about to ask you the same question. I am drinking Heaps. Hey, what's going on, Pete? Our friend Pete and Repeat walking down the street, walking in. I'm drinking the Heaps, the IPA that was a fresh drop, I believe, 2 weeks ago. I always loved it. I always lean towards the fresh drops. I'm always, what's new? What's the latest? What's the hops? What's the haps? What's the Heaps? So I'm drinking the Heaps IPA, and it's a heap of a good time for sure.
I've got the beach beer. I've got a hazy IPA, and the reason why I've got the beach beer is for a couple reasons. One, because as you were down in Mexico enjoying the beach, I was trying to pretend like I was at the beach. I've had this hazy session IPA. But I honestly have to say this when it comes to IPAs. I've never been a huge fan of IPAs, right. A hazy IPA. I feel like a lot of times you have a couple IPAs and you're not feeling great. It's a little too much bitterness, maybe a little too much alcohol. Try this beach beer, this 5% hazy IPA session beer, Danny, and all of a sudden your day is just exactly where you need it to be. And for what it's worth, it's my first beer of the day, and I'm expecting to have many, many more.
I love it. Now, we all remember in 2022, I had the year of IPAs where I was just drinking IPAs nonstop, and I had to get off them. But I might go back for that one for sure. That looks good. I think the Heaps is actually an IPA, so we're good. How about our boy?
The Heaps is an IPA.
How about our boy Charlie Dunbar says Johnny's embracing his inner Dino, looking very English today. Charlie watches from across the pond. We have just a massive, vast international audience that watches this show. We appreciate you, Charlie. One of my so rare buddies that I turned into a Charlotte FC fan over in England.
Thanks for making me feel good today, Danny, and thanks all the Tifos for these compliments. And the one thing that I think is really important to note here is that, I wore all this for a specific reason. I was going for something, and of course the Tifos hit it right on the bullseye.
Of course, the Tifos recognized it.
They did, of course, because they don't
miss
why
they're the Tifos.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Speaking of the Tifos, this is one of those matches, right, where this is an OG match day Sunday.
Oh yeah,
this one's for the real ones. If you're sitting at home on your couch, if you're worried about a little bit of rain, if you're worried you might get a little cold during the match tonight, I've got an idea. Why don't you come over here, have 6 beers, and put on a little liquor blanket and have a good time on a Sunday fun day in South End.
You get your Sunday fun day working. You're not going to worry about the rain one bit whatsoever. What I see is just people. It's a little over 2 hours to kick off here, and I just see people trickling into HopFly. Now, we know that the official tailgate is not happening today. There's reasons for that, and really, they're disappointing reasons. I don't know if it's time to launch in the tirade just yet.
No, it's not.
But
you've teased your speech. We're going to get to it.
What I'm more concerned with, we will talk about why there's no tailgate in a second. What I'm more concerned with is, what is our team going to be able to bring in this weather? Because home field advantage is the key to Charlotte FC's success, and I'm hopeful that a lot of you out there might be people watching this stream right now they're like, I don't know if I'm going to go down there, blah, blah, blah. Get your ass down here, because we need as many people as possible to get. I don't care about the ticket sales. I'm not trying to sell tickets for the club. I'm trying to create a home field advantage for my fucking players right now. That's what I want you here.
And look at this. I mean, we've even got Bridget McCall, a great friend of the show.
Right.
She's telling us she's just hanging out in the vault tonight.
Must be nice.
Yeah,
stay
nice and warm and covered down there.
Yeah.
Good for you, Bridget. I hope you have a nice night
tonight. Give me a few free drinks, please.
Enjoy the vault. And I heard the rain's supposed to stop. Our friend Steve, right?
Stevie Monday. Yeah, Stevie Monday. He's out there grinding. Stevie Monday's been saying all week the rain will be gone, and it's appearing as if he will be proven right. Although it's still cloudy now, the long range looks pretty good.
Can we talk about Liel Abada to start this show?
We should,
because when we get into this match, right, I just want to emphasize the fact that Charlotte FC is coming off of an absolute banger of a win, a 3-2 win against Toronto, where Liel Abada proved what it means to have a designated player in this league that can do it all himself. Can we listen to Dean Smith talk about Liel?
Yeah. Well, something tells me we're not going to be buying Liel Abada's contract down to a TAM level player like previous DPs were always rumored. But yeah, let's see what Dean has to say. Hang on, I'll play it right now. How about? Since I got the freaking laptop in my damn lap.
Yeah, it's really nice to have him, and you can see his performance last week, the confidence that's given him as well, and the release of energy as well. Because I don't care who you are, he's a human being. He's coming here. There's a lot of expectation on him, and he's come in and we introduced him for the last half an hour, and then he got 60 minutes at New England, and it was really, really pleasing to give him 90 minutes. We brought him off, I think, in the 91st minute, but. His pace, his how he carries the ball, his balance he has when he carries the ball as well. He's going to be a real asset for us.
Johnny, you know how sometimes it's not just the words you say, but how you say them? Like the way Dean describes that, you can almost hear the excitement in his voice, and the fact that he's got this new toy, Liel Abada, and he can't wait to deploy him. And he's like, Liel's going 90 tonight. He's like, he always mentions the minutes, And I feel like tonight's the night it's unleash Liel for the full 90.
I wanted to start with that quote from Dean Smith today
100%.
For a couple different reasons. Because this is now, in my mind, a new club with Liel Abada part of it. We've suffered through 2 years now and a quarter of a season almost without having the right wing that this team deserves as a new franchise, as a team that's willing to pay money for players. Listen, Zoran Krneta, he's been out there, Danny. He's tried to get deals like this done, and finally, a fortuitous bounce falls into Krneta's stride, and he smashes one home, and he signs Liel Abada, and this club's trajectory is this. Let me make the point. The club's trajectory is this. If Charlotte FC gets 3 points tonight, 4th place on the table.
Top four hosting a playoff game in position for it. That's amazing. That means, should we pop up the standings?
Yes.
I know you put a little standings graphic together. I noticed in your pre-pro, Johnny. Johnny, the executive producer of this show, always really came through in the pre-pro today. And check out these standings. We're right there ready. We're in the playoff spot, and we're right there ready to make the jump. We've even got a game in hand on a few of these squads.
Exactly right. And if you make that jump tonight with 3 points, best part is you leap Atlanta, you leap Philadelphia, you leap Toronto, you even leap MLS Cup reigning champions Columbus, because in MLS, the tiebreakers wins.
Amazing.
And Charlotte FC would have
4 wins.
4 wins on the season, putting them right there behind Cincinnati, New York, and Inter Miami, the class of the league.
Well,
Danny, if Charlotte FC gets 3 points tonight, I'm going to be in absolute dreamland.
We can do a whole other bonus episode on why Inter Miami is not the class of the league, but we're not going to deal with that today. What I will say is Miami has played more games than anyone and 2 more than us. So if we were to win our 2 games in hand, we would actually be 1 point behind the quote-unquote class of the East, Inter Miami. So I'm not too worried about them yet.
So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to offer some perspective to start this show. I see some comments coming in. What's going on? Anybody want to give a score prediction?
Are commenting.
Just make sure you drop some comments today. Give us a score
guess
prediction.
Who's watching? Guess who's watching? Monday. Steve Monday, you're doing the Lord's work. I know you're trying to get more exposure. All I can say is keep doing good work and the exposure will come.
We love your forecast today,
yes,
Steve.
Very much.
I think you're going to get it right.
Yep,
You've been
100%
spot on the last couple weeks, and I expect you to be spot on tonight.
Yep. How about this quote from Schulford? 4 wins out of 8 is pretty nice. You win half your games, you're probably going to go pretty far in this league.
And the other games are some draws involved there.
Yep. So how about this? Prediction from Josh Hewitt, Tifos. 3-1 with an Abada brace. Are you here for it?
I'm way in for that. That would be absolutely electric. Because sometimes what happens at the Fortress, Danny, is that Charlotte FC really has the right mentality.
Yeah.
And the opposing team kind of looks around and realizes, wait a minute, this is a really difficult place to play.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
And that first 30 minutes, a lot of times, leads to Charlotte FC chances.
We've been jumping on teams for sure. And Dina's mentioned that. And I think the ability to pay that off would be so much better. I was watching the Liverpool match earlier today with my Sunday morning, and the announcers were commenting on some data they had studied that showed the value of scoring early and just the way you can get into they were talking about how Liverpool has scored like 35% of their goals in the last 10 minutes this year and how that's hurt them because scoring early puts you in such a much better position. I would love to see some early goals from the Crown tonight.
I mentioned Minnesota. That's the opposing team coming in tonight. We talked about Teemu Pukki. Dean Smith, Danny, earlier this week had a chance to talk about Minnesota, kind of give his thoughts on the Loons. Can we listen to Dean Smith and his take on what we're going against tonight against Minnesota? Can we listen to that clip?
Yeah, let's talk about him because Dean knows what he's seen. The best thing about this, and you'll hear Dean talk about it, is this is actually not the first time we've seen Minnesota this year.
I mean, I was fortunate that we played them in Coachella during pre-season, so I got to see them firsthand. We drew 0-0. They were probably the better team on the day. We probably our worst performance during pre-season, but it showed me what a good team they are, what good players they've got, and it probably didn't surprise any of our dressing room or locker room the way they've started the season. So we have to be very careful, certainly in the transition, because they're very much they're very good in the counter attack. So our rest defence has to be very good, and they press very quickly as well. Press very well, and they've created a number of opportunities through that. So in terms of our build-up, we have to be right with that as well. So, there's a lot of parts to the game that we have to get right against them.
Johnny, it's interesting to hear him talk about how he thought we were the worst side against Minnesota. But anyway, it's the time of the show where we like to welcome guests, and we got one of the best ever here. Get that scythe, man. You can't put this. You're not the Reaper if you're not holding the scythe. It's the Carolina Reaper.
He doesn't have his glove on. He's not allowed to show his bare hand, Danny. He's got to get that glove on.
All right, sorry. We came back from that soundbite a little too quick, maybe. But welcome to the show, Carolina Reaper.
Thank you for having me on, I guess. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up, dude? It's good to see you. You're always rocking the Carolina Reaper outfit. You've turned into, I think, one of the best supporters for this club. You always show up. You always show out. What kind of passion, I want to know, does it take to get the job done every single week?
Oh, man, because this isn't my only gig. I do this for everybody.
Independence, checkers, Knights, everybody.
Knights, Panthers,
He's the
everybody.
ultimate Charlotte sports fan.
It's just a fun thing to do. I'm such an introverted person, like outside of the costume. So getting into the costume, I wouldn't be doing this.
Is it like an alter ego? It's
absolutely,
you transform as you're putting it on.
There's Kevin, and then there's Carolina Reaper.
Yeah.
Right now I'm Carolina Reaper. So
hell yeah, Reaper!
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
So
to
what's
see
your
you.
game day routine? We're so pleased that you joined us at HopFly today. What do you like to do on game days, match days for Charlotte FC?
So normally my game day routine is I wake up. I lay out my Reaper outfit for the day. Depending on what time the kickoff is, I usually try to get down to the supporter tailgate about 3-4 hours before.
Go usher some people into the afterlife.
Give me that Sid. Give me that Sid, if you don't mind. If I may be so bold.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this thing is nice. I feel like I could do. Can I carry this to the supporter section?
They won't let me bring that in.
So
maybe to Clutch. Can I bring this to Clutch?
Yeah, you can bring it to Clutch.
Right,
yeah, man.
Hear me out on this, Reaper. Right? What was the inspiration to become the Reaper of all things?
So, do you want the whole origin story?
Yes.
It depends how long it is.
We got all night.
Okay.
I mean, is this Dark Knight Returns or
So the origin story is 2020. COVID restrictions are going on. I get tickets to a Carolina Panthers game. It's the Thursday night game before Halloween against the Atlanta Falcons. And I said to myself, if I'm going to go to this game, I'm going to have to wear a mask anyway. I'm going to come up with a whole character, a whole persona for it. Decided, went to the Halloween shop, went to Spirit Halloween, was looking at different costumes. Saw the Grim Reaper costume. It was just like Carolina Reaper. It works on all levels. It works for any team.
The pepper.
So that was the first game I went to as Carolina Reaper. Second game I went to as Carolina Reaper was actually on Halloween Day. A couple days later, it was the Academy game, Charlotte FC against the Atlanta Academy.
Academy? The Reaper has Academy roots, y'all.
Yeah, that was my first.
He's got to scare the shit out of those
kids.
Coach, there's a guy over there that's frightening us.
Right.
My favorite thing about the Reaper costume is, well, two things. First of all, when you talk, the mouth moves.
Yes.
Which is badass. And second, dude, show off your kicks. Show off your shoes. Show the people what you're rocking with here.
I always am rocking
Chucks, baby.
Some Chuck Taylors. Always matching Chuck Taylors. Doesn't matter if I'm wearing red and black for the Checkers, blue and black for Charlotte FC, or for the Carolina Panthers. This is actually a new mask. I just painted it last night.
Looks good.
To go with the Explore kit.
I'm blue CLT till I die. I like that.
Yep,
Little Eiffel 65 action.
Can we get a score prediction tonight, Reaper?
Score prediction, I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1.
That's my go-to. That's my go-to score prediction because I'm going to be honest with you.
You just always say 3-1 and hope it works out.
I always say 3-1. As far as soccer goes, I am still learning, but 3-1 just seems like a good, solid prediction. A homer prediction, obviously.
Yeah, you're always picking Charlotte FC.
Oh yeah, always.
If you pick the other team, Reaper, that's not a good sign. Dude.
Yeah, no.
I never want you to pick against Charlotte FC. Okay,
I'm gonna have to go home if that happens for sure.
Thanks, dude, so much for coming on the show. Dude,
appreciate you,
Reaper.
Thank you for everything you do for the Charlotte sports scene. For sure, man.
So much.
For sure. And great gloves as well, by the way.
Fantastic.
I got a Karate Kid flashback seeing those gloves. How about this, Johnny? I got a question for you, and this is coming from Tifo's Joseph Doak, one of the best ever.
What's up, Joe?
Who do you predict at the 10 tonight?
At the 10 tonight, I've got none other than Scotty Arfield.
You think it's Scotty? Scotty stays?
Yeah, Scotty has, I think, cemented himself.
He hasn't lost the job.
The starting 10 at home specifically. And we can get into this. We're going to talk about Enzo Capetti and Patrick Ajimong. And which
another thing Dino commented on, right?
If we could play that clip, then I'll kind of give you my take on the number 10. Wrapped in with that.
Let's hear from the gaffer.
That's something that I have to manage and weigh up myself. He's come off the bench and done really well. But I expect him to, because he gives people problems. I think everybody knows that I keep giving him a lot of glowing praise because of the player he can be and what he's becoming. But saying that, I look at Enzo's performance and his front running that he done for 75 minutes of the game on last Saturday, and that was excellent. Unfortunately, he didn't get the chances that popped up for Patrick. So it's for me to weigh up and choose the best decision.
Okay, so the decision tonight.
I don't feel like he really made us any closer, but I thought Enzo was a lock, but when I hear that, I think maybe Pat could start again.
Okay, so here's the take. The take is that, and I talked to Danny Higginbotham about this, the decision for Dino is really simple. It's, do I just redeploy the same thing that got me success last Saturday?
Right.
Or do I switch it up, right? And I think today, Dean Smith has the opportunity to say Patrick Ajimong and Breck Diagra are my second half super subs.
Right.
And those two players are starting to fill that role. Right. And Patrick in that role takes a little bit of pressure off him. Right. He can come in and just focus on getting a goal. He doesn't have to play for 65 minutes. Let Enzo Capetti be the workhorse. Because quite frankly, Enzo Capetti can't do anything else, so he might as well go out there and work for 65 minutes.
For what it's worth, I will say Enzo Capetti is scoring a goal tonight. But let's just play this quick bite from Dino about Enzo, and then I'll tell you kind of what I'm thinking as far as this whole decision goes.
He occupies two centre-backs a lot. Not many centre-forwards can do that, but because of his running capacity, he likes to run in behind. I don't think we find him as much as we often can do, but he occupies the two centre-backs, and it's an important thing to do because then you're creating space for others as well. He's very good in the air, better than probably what his height tells you he should be, and hence winning that header for Kerwin's goal last week.
So now I hear that, and I'm like, now I start to see where Dean's head really might be going, which is Enzo, for all his finishing issues, continually occupies two defenders, continually frees up space in the attack, continually wears these guys down, and then you send in Patrick Ajimong for 20 minutes against two center backs who've been chasing Enzo around for an hour and 10 minutes, and all of a sudden, his work is even easier. And if you look at the goal he scored, the game winner last week, it was because he was able to get through traffic and slide in to meet the cross and fresh legs. Exactly. So
it's a great take, Danny.
I like the strategy, the tactic, if you will.
It's starting to come together.
Yes.
Right? We've waited now many games so far this season to kind of get a window into, hey, what is this team? What is the substitution pattern? The team has depth. How does Dean Smith use that depth to his advantage? And I think right now we're starting to figure that out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I love what Dino said earlier about he knows Minnesota a little bit. We saw him we played them in the preseason. They are who we thought they were. I think that Dean knows what he needs to do to get this 3 points tonight as far for his point of view, as long as the players can deliver, which they've been doing so far.
So we've got a lot of people watching us right now.
Thank you all for being here.
I appreciate everybody watching here. If you're watching at home, if you're near HopFly, if you're near South End, do me a favor. As much as we like you watching the show, shut your laptop, turn off your Amazon Fire Stick, and get over here and get a beer. I'll buy you a beer if you come ask for one, because I'm due for one.
Come to HopFly.
I'm absolutely due. We've got another guest coming right now. We got two of our really good friends walking in the door right now. So, Danny, what I'm going to do?
Right. Remember when we bullied them into getting married? That was amazing.
Well, it's one of many weird things that have happened on Charlotte Soccer Show.
This guy needs a drink.
We're here to, you know what we're here to do, Danny? We're here to bring the people together.
Right.
We would never, ever try to separate this fan base.
Right. And divide people.
Divide people up.
Because it's not about us. It's about all of us. And you know what it's about? The club, the soccer. We're not here to. I'll finish this rant in a minute.
Charlotte Soccer Show. I'm John Hayes. He's Danny Brams. We're back with a special guest and some new beers right after this. What up? We're back.
We are
And we've got a
back.
special guest. Danny
We
Brackett is
are
here,
back.
host of the Full-Time Roundup podcast. I was lucky enough to be a guest on that podcast this week. I think all my Premier League predictions were absolute shit, but it was still a pleasure to be on the show anyway.
I just hope that people don't listen to the end of the show because I get a lot wrong too. So it's okay. But John, it's good to see you. You're looking great. I love the fit, even on a rainy day.
He's so dapper.
I know he is. He looked like a Peaky Blinder.
You've heard the term
here.
Dapper Dan, and you got two Dans here, and the most dapper guy is named John.
A Dan sandwich once again.
I was going for the football Sunday. It's a little rainy. I feel like I wanted to drink beers at the pub. I felt like I wanted to get a little drunk, and I felt like I wanted to look good doing it, Danny.
Can't blame you.
Check.
It's a pleasure to welcome Brackett onto the show. A couple things I want to talk to Brackett about, considering he's the host of the Full-Time Roundup podcast, covering European football.
Listen.
We should get his take on Teemu Pukki, right? A star that's coming to the Keep tonight. Charlotte FC, Adilson Malanda, Andrew Privet, Bill Tuiloma. Not sure if Malanda's going to play. Dean Smith said that Malanda has declared himself fully fit. What are they dealing with in a guy like Teemu Pukki?
A lot. He's an absolute veteran forward who's seen it all in the Premier League and the Championship, just banging goals left and right. And so if Malanda's not playing tonight, then if I'm Teemu Pukki, I'm licking my lips, ready, seeing how that back line looked last week, and say, hey, I might grab myself a brace tonight.
He is licking his chops. I agree with you. It's a great opportunity for him to play well tonight.
Was the drop-off that bad, though, from Tuiloma to Malanda, really?
I was not impressed with last week's defensive display.
Despite the pre-assist, the long ball to Enzo to head it down to Kerwin?
He's not talking about offense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes offense is the best defense. We all know that. But when it came
we did need all three of those goals.
When it came to a Bill Tuiloma with almost no senior minutes for the last however so long, and then a kid who just came out of college converted center back Andrew Privet, which I love. That's just a scary combination right there.
The other thing is, despite his youthful age or whatnot, Adilson Malanda is the veteran leader on this back line. He has the most experience in this back line of anyone, even though Burns much older.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And so if Malanda starts tonight, I feel a whole hell of a lot better about how Charlotte FC fare against Teemu Pukki, because you know who's going to be on Teemu Pukki this entire time? Adilson Malanda. Winning every single aerial duel. He will not let him go a single foot without having him covered.
Well, let's queue up. Let's keep this going. Let's hear what Dino thinks of Teemu Pukki, because he knows him from his Premier League days as well. And then we'll see. I want to get your reaction on how Dino characterizes this.
He's a very good player. Better than that, he's a really good person as well. I saw him at the market day down in Miami, and it was good to catch up with him again. He's really enjoying his time at Minnesota. He's good friends with Yere as well, and Yere will tell us everything we need to know, but I certainly know his movement's very good. He's a really good goal scorer, but he's also a really good teammate as well, so we have to be our best to not just stop him, but Lardu plays in behind as well. They've got the chemistry, they've got the nationality that connects them, I suppose. But it's not just them two as well. They've got a good team, and I think they've proven a few people wrong this season with the start that they've had. So we have to make sure that we're switched on. He's a very good player. Better than that, he's a really good person as well. I saw him at the market day down in Miami, and it was good to catch up with him again.
All right, there's Dean Smith on Teemu Pukki. Hey, Dean Smith, remember, he was the Norwich City manager. Teemu Pukki, a great player for Norwich City, right?
It's crazy, yeah.
He's got to have a game plan for him tonight, right?
Oh, he definitely knows his strengths, his weaknesses, what he wants to see. And Dean has definitely been in the lab all weekend long.
Oh, yeah.
Figuring out how to stop him.
Even though he had a break down at Myrtle Beach, took his wife down to his Myrtle Beach house for a couple days since it was a Sunday match, and the squad had off on Monday and Tuesday. He's working hard down at Myrtle Beach.
Oh, he's
got a room where he's watching film.
Oh no, he's on the beach watching film on his phone.
100%, yeah. He did not take the extra day off like the rest of the players did this week. I have a feeling, for sure.
And the best managers don't.
Yeah. I love it. I think, again, I really do feel like it's kind of like if you believe in, do you believe in magic? I don't want to attribute supernatural forces necessarily here, but it feels like Jere Urinen's week. Jere was the player they sent out to the midweek of media availability. Sam Spencer and Soccer Sheet did a big write on him in Y'all Weekly. The Queen's Pitch interviewed him, and now we got a team coming to play us, and their two best players are his Finnish international teammates. I just feel like it's Jere Urinen's night. It's all leading up to something crazy good is going to happen with Jere Urinen tonight.
What do you make about Jere Urinen? Do you like him as a player?
He's one of the guys that you can always depend on to put in a full shift. And
the full 90.
The full 90. You don't expect a mistake out of him. He's gonna always be one of the best players in the back line, especially if you don't have Malanda tonight. He's the guy we're gonna be leaning on for that veteran leadership, like you mentioned before.
If you listen to that Queen's Pitch interview, which I highly, highly recommend, the ladies did an amazing job, and I love because I'm not even going to call that an interview. I'm going to call it a conversation. They just had a conversation with him, which was such a great listen.
Oh, just amazing fan media. Truthfully is. They do a fantastic job. And when you sit down with Bridget and Kara, I mean, you'll spill the tea.
Right. And they dug in deep. Like the quote that we play off the top of our show where Jere says, when you play with a smile on your lips, you go faster, you don't get tired. They dug in on that and got him to expound on it more. So I would highly recommend listening because he talks about, he's like, why would I play if I didn't have a smile on my face while I was playing? And he's like, and I know sometimes throughout my career, people have come to me and said, well, don't you care? Aren't you fighting to win? He's like, yeah, I'm playing to win, but I know I do better when I play with a smile on my face. And so, I just love that Jere is so self-aware and knows himself and he's been a professional since he was 15 years old. He talked about, playing in his home country and then playing in France and in Germany. And now he's here. And I just see a beautiful thing happening for Jere tonight. I'm talking Teemu Pukki's in quote unquote 1v1 versus Kalina. And all of a sudden Jere comes out of nowhere because he had the perfect angle and slides and takes that ball away. Some type of moment like that is going to happen, I feel.
At the end of the day, some people just play, like you mentioned, their best football when they're just enjoying the beautiful game as it is. And you don't need that extra pressure. He knows who's coming to town tonight. He knows it. He's been thinking about it all week. I'm sure his teammates on Minnesota United have been texting him. And so he knows what he's got to do tonight. Right. And he's going to be, he's going to shut him down.
What are you
pretty good about that.
What are you drinking here, Danny Brackets?
I am drinking a nice little extra time.
Oh, cheers. Cheers to you and La Muerte. That's La Muerte's beer.
Delicious. It's delicious.
What did you get? Did you re-rack with something different?
No, I re-racked. Let's take it to Vienna, baby. I took a non-stop flight to Bavaria and drank a high time, right? This is the high time?
The high time, the Vienna lager. I'll tell you what, on a cold, rainy day, an amber, malty, caramel lager.
The brown was just calling to me.
Oh,
for sure.
God, that looks good.
That's poetic.
I re-rack with the beach beer. It's not a beach day, but it is one in my mind.
Well, you're in the haze right now. You stay. Hayes is hazy, and he's staying there for sure. He's not giving it up. I didn't drink. I cheersed and didn't drink. That's bad luck. Sorry.
All good. And speaking of the beautiful game, over my left-hand shoulder here in HopFly, over all of our left-hand shoulders, actually, it's 2-2 in El Clasico right now. El Clasico 2-2 right now.
Wow.
We got the final 15 minutes of the game on. If you're going to watch that game at home, just make sure you put it on mute and leave us chatting. But you got a good final 20 minutes.
We'll allow that as your second screen if you're watching this show for sure. Guys, I want to get over. We talked about Jere. He's the left back. He's locked in. But I want to talk about the other side. Let's talk about Jalen Lindsey because he's one of our own. He's one of our own. Jalen Lindsey. He's one of our own. And he's been the starter for 2 games now in Nathan Burns' absence. He's going to start again tonight. Byrne had a late flight back from England. Byrne is available next week. We know this already. So this is Jalen. The question I want to ask is, could Jalen do enough tonight over this 3-game sample to somehow stay in the starting job ahead of Byrne or not? Let's hear from Dean first, and then I want your answer, all right?
Defensively, I thought he was really solid. He won some really good headers for us as well defensively. And he can claim a pre-assist for the goal, I suppose, as well. He was a better performance and he's getting game ready. I still thought he tired last 10-15 minutes, but he's getting better and better.
So what I love about that is because Jalen, a lot of times I hear people in the fan base and like, Jalen, he's all right. He gets forward, but the defending is not really there. And I'm like, look at what Dino just said. He's defending his ass off. He's winning defensive headers. Jalen's always getting in there for headers. When other teams send balls in the box, watch who's clearing them. Oftentimes it is Jalen fucking Lindsey. So give this kid his flowers for his defense. Give him his flowers for his over-the-top balls. He had the pre-assist. He had the beautiful pass to Deagra in perfect stride. And then Brecht was able to send the cross into Patrick for a game-winning goal. Jalen Lindsey's the real deal. And he is a number, no doubt about it, MLS caliber starter. And he's just got a very, very good player in front of him, Nathan Byrne, who works his ass off as well to stay relevant at an advanced age. And it's a good problem to have. But I think my guess is it goes back to Byrne because Byrne didn't really do anything to lose the job other than leave the country. But could Jalen stay in?
That's a tough one because we're talking about, a local kid who took his opportunity when he had it. But then on the other side, you have a Nathan Byrne, an Englishman like Dean Smith, speaks the same language there. And like you said, he's fantastic defensively. Now, I think that Jalen Lindsey definitely offers more going forward. But Dean Smith has been loving those clean sheets, how he started the season. So does he prefer that offensive outlet, or does Finn prefer the defensive side of the game when it comes to
I think Byrne is a little better at, as far as I think Byrne is better at tracking back, and he's got the pace to cheat a little bit forward and get back. But at the same time, he doesn't get as forward as Jalen. Jalen still gets more forward than him.
I'm glad this conversation has came up because you touched on something that I've been thinking about a lot this week. And I even got into Jalen Lindsey's DMs about it this week on Instagram. He didn't respond, which I didn't expect, but I went super fanboy on him. And it was that there was that tiny, those tiny shots that the Charlotte FC media team does?
Yeah. I love those.
They do those tiny players with the big heads.
That's quality work.
That is quality work.
There was one where they had Jalen Lindsey up heading a ball. And I responded. I said, dude, you legitimately timed your jumps brilliantly against Toronto. His jumps were timed so well. Yeah. His headers were 10 out of 10. Yeah. That's part of the reason why I put out that controversial tweet earlier this week about Enzo Capetti playing absolutely terrible against Toronto. It's because when I watch this team play, I'm literally just dissecting every single touch under the microscope.
Right.
And these touches.
That rewatch is essential for sure.
And Jalen's touches on Saturday night, specifically with his head, were absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to give the cop-out answer here, right? And I'm going to say it doesn't really matter if Jalen Lindsey becomes the full-time starter at right back, because this is a really nice problem to have.
Right, exactly.
Two really good right backs for Dean Smith in a very long MLS season.
Big time.
And you mentioned aerial ability, right? I was listening to the Crowdcast, and they were talking about Bill Tioma's terrible header ability or clearance ability when it comes to ball in the air.
He scored a goal off his head one time last year.
He did.
It was for St. Louis, but he did score it.
So that is a big strength, though, when it comes to having that person in the back line who could be lethal from a set piece, offensively and defensively.
Wait, I'm not. For what it's worth, I'm not talking about headers inside the box, right? I'm talking about headers that are long balls cleared into the midfield and Jalen timing
move the ball forward,
that are touched perfectly as a pass, not just getting a head on it just for the sake of touching it with your head.
Right. And I love this comment from Brian Schulford. Schulford in the leader in the clubhouse for commenter of the day on today's episode,
Brian.
For sure.
Thanks for your service.
Jalen can throw around his mass. Jalen's a big fullback. He's twice the size of Nathan Byrne. Let's be honest.
He's yoked.
He's yoked. So
him and Brant Bronico, a couple dudes that know how to hit the gym.
When you look at, I'm not going to compare Jalen Lindsey to Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's much faster, much more skilled, but he's a big fullback, and Jalen kind of fits that mold of the big fullback, which is not the worst thing.
Yeah, it's somebody that loves American football too, as well. When I think fullback, right, I think truck stick.
Somebody
that can truck somebody.
Hard-nosed football.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jalen could do that. Can he, Danny?
He definitely can. I love Jalen. I don't have anything against Byrne, but man, I love Jalen. It just is what it is.
Can we talk about one more player that came from France, from League Two?
We come from France.
Jabril Diani. I don't know. Dean Smith talked about him this week. If we could hear Dean's, quick thoughts on Diani.
I mean, what he says, you're gonna love to hear this, y'all.
I love him on the ball. He can see a pass, that's for sure, and he's a really good guy around the dressing room. All the players are enjoying working with him, and I think we can improve him and help him get better.
Guys, what is it like to have a midfielder like Diani just come into this squad and have such composure on the ball?
He's immediately elevated the position like that. And I remember I was on Twitter having discourse with his former club fans. As one does, naturally.
Yeah.
And they were like, I don't know. He's not a progressive passer, this and that. And he has a lot of progressive passes so far. Yeah. He has a beautiful touch. He calms it down. Derek Jones had the same effect, but he does things more efficiently for me.
Here's the way I'd phrase it. I love Derek Jones. Loved having DJ on the team. Always wanted to see him in the side because he held the ball so well. But everything before the but is a lie, obviously. Diani holds the ball as well as Jones and knows what to do with it. That's the difference.
Exactly. No, I couldn't agree more. And he's an absolute force defensively as well. He's so wiry, too.
Yeah.
He's completely adapted to physicality, what the MLS brings to offer. 100%. And we got ourselves an absolute gem from France.
For sure, yeah.
I love him.
It's a diamond in the rough, right? Remember what Zoran Krneta said about, does he want to recruit and scout the superstar?
Yeah.
Or find a needle in the haystack?
I've dealt with superstars. There's nothing super there. So good.
If you haven't seen our Zoran Krneta interview, it's on this YouTube page. You can see it there. You can listen to it there. It's audio only.
If you want to learn something.
Follow us on our podcast feed as well. Charlotte Soccer Show. Make sure you follow Full-Time Roundup as well. If you like European soccer, Danny Brackett. And, of course, our
friend... You sat in on Full-Time Roundup last week as well.
Right. I had a great time with it. I absolutely did. Our friend,
so you need more John Hayes in your life.
Our friend Matt Geslin, of course, a co-host on Full-Time Roundup as well. You saw our new tees today. Those are all Matt Geslin's photos. We've got a bit of a team coming together here.
If you see a photo from us, it's coming from M. Geslin Studios. So make sure you follow that kid.
Before we get Danny out of here, right? Just wanted to get your take on the FA Cup today, just briefly. Nobody wants to hear about the FA Cup. I thought everybody's watching
always the Cup. It's always the Cup.
Always the Cup.
Right? Yeah.
Coventry,
we have thousands of people watching around the world. I know they want to hear about the FA Cup. An
absolute thriller. What was it like to see Coventry in that moment?
When that extra time goal went in and we thought it was a winner, I wasn't even a Coventry fan, but I had light blue on. I was celebrating my ass off. And then, of course, it came back because of VAR. And we were talking about it, but it would have been a hell of a ride for Coventry to come back from 3-0 down at halftime to fight all the way back and stoppage time to win.
If they hadn't given up that one against the run of play early second half, too. I mean, they dominated. When Coventry made that switch from the back five to the back four, they dominated Man U. It was insane.
It's such
I wish they played it from the beginning.
Yeah, it's such heartbreak, too, because they were in the championship playoffs last season and lost the PKs. Was it Sheffield or?
I'm so sorry. I don't want to go backwards. I always want to look forwards on the show, but this comment from It's Kyle is too good. Both Diani and Jones have contributed to Charlotte FC points this year. That's pretty good. Shout out to you, Kyle. Thanks for being a great Tifos. We love you.
But as I was saying before, like they lost in PK shootout in the championship playoff final at Wembley, and then they go to Wembley again and lose to PKs again, especially after Casemiro missed the first PK. I thought they were in the driver's side, so that's just another heartbreak for them.
Who would you rather see in the final play Man City, Coventry or Man U at this point, right?
Either team's losing, so it doesn't matter.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. It always is. Cheers. Quick prediction for tonight, and we'll let you get out of here.
3-2 Charlotte.
Oh,
Goal Fest.
Carbon copy of last Saturday against Toronto. A 3-2 Charlotte win.
It's all about the fight back, baby.
Cheers to you, dude. Thanks so much for joining the show.
Thank you.
Make sure you listen to Full-Time Roundup podcast, an incredible podcast about European soccer. It's my Monday listen. Might be a little bit. I don't know. You guys haven't recorded it yet because this game tonight. But make sure you check out the weekend review.
Full-Time Roundup. It's
a really great show, and I appreciate you having me on.
Full-Time Roundup.
It's for the crown, baby.
So speaking of fight back, I wasn't going to play this clip.
Okay.
But since Danny mentioned the 3-2, let me just play this real quick. This is Yere. This is Yere from midweek, and this is him talking about the fight back and what it takes for what this team showed in fighting back to win 3-2.
It's a sign of a good team, you know. It's never easy when you get equalized on. because you get the good feeling, you know, you go up 1-0, it goes 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, and then when it happens multiple times, you get, you know, starts to get like frustrated, like, damn, can't we put this game away? So it does say a lot about us, you know. But it's always easier to do these things at home, you know, with the crowd behind us. They deserved it as well as we did. It was really strong from us to get those 3 points, and really important 3 points as well. No matter if we play here or in LA or wherever we play, you know, just I'm going there to get those 3 points. So let's go one game at a time. Let's go win them all.
Let's win them all.
I mean, that is an absolute major statement. There's something
It's a Yere kind of day, my brother. I'm telling you, it's Yere's day. The weather.
One thing I really like about Jere Jurinen is that he's very quietly confident.
Right. The quiet confidence.
He says things that come off like he's not saying anything confident, but he really is super confident about himself, about his game, and about this team.
I mean, say what you will, but it goes back to I learned this from the Queen's Pitch conversation that I mentioned earlier. Like, he met his wife at age 15. He's like, boom, she's the one. I'm married. He just knows, he's confident. He knows, like, and they're still together. You know, like, that's the kind of, like, he's just very decisive and makes shit happen. I want to shout out. We always love to shout out our first-time commenters here. And I believe this is the first time I've ever seen a comment from Caroline Vervoort. So
me too.
We appreciate you, Caroline, for checking in. Just on an earlier conversation,
Burn doesn't have his green card. Burn doesn't have his green card yet.
I think he's flying back with it. Hopefully, we hope.
I could go on a rant about that. But I won't.
Why did it take this long?
Because
yeah, exactly.
I don't care.
But and this comment from Lad on Fire, who's just one of the absolute best.
He's always on fire.
Absolute one of the best. Is it wrong to blast Charlotte Soccer Show pregame at max volume on the train into town? Too bad. It's not wrong. Don't worry about it, Lad. You're the best. Thank you so much.
It's a vibe here at HopFly.
It's packed up. It was not this full when we started.
I wanted to tell you this too. In the brew house, over Danny's left shoulder, you'll see the doors into the brew house. You've seen us live there. If you've been to a Charlotte FC watch party here for an away game, you've been back in the brew house.
We always beat New York, so it's going to be a win next weekend.
So they had the brew house set up for a tailgate back up there.
Yeah.
They had games. They had picnic tables.
Right. So
170-inch TV. And what I wanted to tell you, Danny, was that when I walked by there just a second ago, it was packed in there.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I love it. Love when the brew house is full. Absolutely love when the brew house is full. We will be there live next week. If you want to come watch the game with a bunch of friends and good people, but you're not getting to the stadium, come to the brew house. They got a giant fucking screen.
Yeah, totally. Like, think about it tonight, right? If you're like, it's too cold to go to the stadium, but hey, it's Sunday. It's about to be 5 o'clock. I'm craving a beer. Why don't you just come to HopFly, watch the game here, kick back? But if you do want to go to the game, I got news. I got 2 tickets. I'm trying to give out here at HopFly. I've got 2 tickets. All you've got to do, Danny, is come up to us and say, it's for the crown, baby.
For the crown, baby.
You
get free tickets.
You can get a ticket to the game.
We got
tonight.
tickets to give away.
Yep.
Come get them.
So come to HopFly, get a ticket. Cheers to that. Cheers to you. And cheers to this club.
All right, what's up? Hey, there's our boy Brian Marley. We love Brian. Tremendous friend of the show.
I think he's vlogging out there.
So he's vibing, baby. Is that a switchblade? Is that a butterfly knife?
I
thought that was a butterfly. That looked like a butterfly knife. Watch out. Which brings me to my next topic, which is, it's time, Johnny. I think it's time to tell him. I think it's time to tell him.
Thank you so much.
So, folks, we love seeing HopFly packed here. We absolutely love it. Let me get comfortable here.
Yeah, get yourself situated. This is important.
So here's the deal. So, unfortunately, my vacation last week when I flew out on Sunday morning was tarnished slightly by the reports that I got, and a lot of details were kind of flying in all directions. But basically, Johnny, what I heard is there was a fight. There was a fight after the game, after the Toronto match.
After the win. After a win.
And really, this isn't even about being after a win. What I'm about to say applies after a win or a loss, but it is even worse after a win. Embarrassing, really, and you should be embarrassed if you fought after a win. You should probably ban yourself from future games, in my opinion. But so what happened was a fight started in the stadium, continued through on the walkout, and climaxed at Clutch, where some people were maybe laying in wait, maybe not. People got in a fight. Ambulance was called. I believe someone went to the hospital. I don't want that to happen. I'm not here to minimize any injuries or anything that happened. But what I want to say is that everyone who participated in this is not a real Charlotte FC fan at all. You are pathetic, and what you did was make it more about you and your little clique supporters group than about Charlotte FC, the club. Why are we here? Why do we go to these games? We go for community, yes, but it's an invitation community. It's an inclusive community. It's not we're this group over here and you're that group over there, and we sit in different parts of the stadium, and our chants are not the same as your chants, and blah, blah, blah. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. It's pathetic. And the fact of the matter is, like, you really need to take a look in the mirror. If you're fighting after a game, win or loss, you suck. And I learned something. What I was doing on my vacation down in Mexico was I was at a 4-night Widespread Panic concert. Widespread Panic, great jam band from Atlanta. What's up, man? They've been around for almost 40 years right now. They're not everybody's cup of tea, but I love them. And so a lot of my best friends are huge fans from when I used to live in Austin. So I go every year to this 4-day Widespread Panic Festival in Mexico with all my good friends, and we have a good time.
Sounds amazing.
So how does a concert compare to a soccer match, right? So what you're there for at Widespread Panic is you're there to see something. It's almost like it's almost a ritual experience. I won't call it a religious experience, but it's very much a ritual experience. Close. Yeah, it's close. And a soccer match is very much the same thing. It's a lot of strangers who congregate in one place to see something that they love and get a little fucked up, and maybe get anywhere on the range from tipsy to fucked up, right? So, what up, Mike? So, you got these people at this concerts. They're trashed. There's thousands of them. They're moving around, dancing. They're jostling. They're throwing elbows. They're stepping on people's feet. They're pushing people on accident. They're kicking over people's drinks that are down on the ground. They're doing things that would upset folks, right?
Can I pause you for 1 second?
Of course, yes.
Because we're going to get a photo with these young supporters here. Yeah, come on in here. Come on in. Yeah, cheers. It's for the crowd, baby.
Thank you, guys.
Boys.
Enjoy the match. So
I thought that was the right thing to do, to pause.
Of course it was. It's always about the kids.
Yes.
The kids wanted a picture. We paused to take a picture. So what I have to say is, people go to these Panic concerts. They get in each other's space. They elbow, they jostle, they push, they step on feet, they kick over drinks, and nobody gets mad at each other.
Right.
They say my bad, and they hug it out, and and why do they do that? They're fucked up. They're just as drunk as any soccer hooligan, but they are peaceful with each other because of the reason they are there. Because everyone's there to see this band that they love. Same thing in a soccer match. You're there to see the club that you love. So if you're there to do your stupid click bullshit and say that, blah, 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 supporter group, blah, 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 supporter group, blah, fuck you and fuck that. Because I'm not here for it. We're here for Charlotte FC. That's why we don't have fans. We have friends. That's why we're not here to fucking become Instagram influencers or future billionaires or sell you merch. We're not fucking here for that. We're here for Charlotte FC, to watch soccer matches and have fun with our friends. So if you're not here for that, kindly fuck off and go look yourself in the mirror and reconsider why you have your fucking tickets. And if you want to fight because of like some little minor indignity that happened after a match, oh, they pushed me, oh, they spilled beer on me, fuck off. Get over yourself and figure out why you're there. And if you can't meet the moment and you can't go to a match and have a good time and not worry about little minor indignities, then fucking sell your season tickets and get the fuck out of my club.
It's a mic drop from Danny Brams. Have a sip of that high time. It's a good time to do that. Cheers to you. Cheers to that. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Wow. I did not expect the chug at the end of that. What an absolute. He's even getting a standing ovation. That's Brett in the background there. And for what it's worth, Danny, I agree with everything you said. It's hard to add anything to that. What I'll say is thank you for saying it. Thank you.
Don't fucking fight after matches. Jesus fucking Christ. What's your problem?
Thank you for addressing the elephant in the room. Thank you for bringing to light something that should be talked about, right? And I'll say this, is that, we have been accused at Charlotte Soccer Show of trying to drive a wedge between supporters and different creators here in the community. And I promise you, that
insane.
Nothing further. There's nothing further than the truth than that statement right there, because all you have to do is spend some time here at HopFly. All you have to do is hang out before a match. All you have to do is come on a Sunday recap show. And there's no patting ourselves on the back. I mean, legitimately, we're just hanging out here trying to have a good time and build this community. All the Tifos know, our tremendous friends of the show, they know, Danny, that all we've done, really, from the very beginning of this is try to bring people together. That's all that I'll say. I can't say anything more than that.
I said enough. If you don't like what I have to say, please don't beat me up. That's the whole point of what I said. We can talk about it as humans.
Well, and I think it's let me just add some context to this, right?
Right.
The supporters tailgate was canceled today.
Right.
The first time in the history of
and
this
there supposedly there will be no supporters flags in the supporter section today.
First time in the history of the club that the supporters tailgate was canceled. I think maybe it hasn't been held on another day for some other reason, but this is the first time that the supporters tailgate has been canceled because of a disagreement, because of the failure to just simply get along. And when you kind of put it like that, even though it's raining and it obviously a tough day to tailgate, what if it was a beautiful day? You know, what if it was a beautiful Carolina skies and all these supporters couldn't tailgate together? I just think it's a really what happens is that, and my take on this is that after a win, right, it's a 3-2 win. What you've done is you've put yourself above the club.
Right. Exactly.
What you've done,
it's selfish,
is you've watered down the result. What you've done is you've embarrassed the club
and yourself
when it should have been a night to lift up the club,
right,
and talk about how, wow, this really is working.
That fight back that Yera is talking about
under Dean Smith. So I think it's a really, really important time as fan media, because that's what we are here. We're fan media.
I extend my sympathies to those who suffered injuries in this fight, but no one is innocent. Everyone's guilty as far as I'm concerned. Get over yourselves and fuck off. Now, here's what we're going to move to. Now that little
I'm glad you got a transition because I'm struggling.
How about a lineup, everybody? Let's give the starting 11. Adilson Malanda. Bill Tuoloma starts again. What do you think?
Bill Tuoloma in the lineup tonight. I think that's totally fine. I think Tuoloma is somebody that has a ton of MLS experience that can step in and play on a rainy night. Remember, he played a lot of time in Portland. Portland weather is very similar to the weather that we're seeing in Charlotte today.
Love that take.
And another thing is it was really important to hear Dean Smith talk about Adilson Malanda declaring himself fully fit.
I declare match fitness. Michael Scott action for sure.
It's pretty clear.
You can always declare yourself match fit, but it's up to the gaffer to put you in the lineup.
Not just the gaffer; it's up to the trainers too.
100%.
Yes, 100%. And say, well, I'm not quite sure. So it's Bill Tuoloma tonight, and quite frankly, I'm good with that. Latin Fire, it's the same starting 11, and I
don't change your winning 11.
Scotty Arfield in there. That's what I talked about, right?
You knew it. You were right.
Scotty Arfield at that 10 position. Scotty Arfield does such a nice job in that 10 role at home. I'm expecting, if you were to ask me, Danny, is it Scotty Arfield or is it Enzo Capetti that gets on the score sheet tonight? I say Scotty Arfield.
La 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 la. Hey, Scotty Arfield, Mr. Sunday evening for sure. I got a comment from Charlie Dunbar. Does Copetti need a goal tonight? I'm not sure, but my ESPN bet account does need Copetti to get a goal tonight.
Well, let me answer that question as well. Sure, Enzo Capetti has needed a goal since February.
Exactly. Great point. He needs a goal every night, right?
He does.
Insane. Well, we're running low on battery here.
Yeah,
and we're running short on time.
Yes, we showed the starting lineup. I think it's a good way to finish the show.
I'm looking at the numbers here. It looks like 75,000 people have tuned in. We thank you all. Thank you so much. Dozens of thousands.
I can't believe it. Next week maybe we'll get to 100,000. You
never know.
Just a goal.
It's not about the metrics. It's about the fucking club, like I said.
So
Jesus Christ.
We've seen the starting 11, right? It's the same. We're on top of it. Patrick Ajamong,
and I think we've gotten some people to HopFly as well. I think we've done all our missions accomplished.
I'll give my prediction. I think that it is. I'm going to go with the Carolina Reapers prediction. 3-1 Charlotte FC tonight. Maybe 2-1, but I think Charlotte FC gets the win. 2-1 or 3-1. And I also want to say happy birthday, Michael Volak. Happy birthday to Michael Volak.
The original Tifos, Michael Volak.
Happy birthday.
The birthday boy.
Happy birthday,
the birthday
Mike.
boy and his lovely bride.
Jenny's here as well. What's your prediction?
2-0 Charlotte FC.
Oh, a clean sheet.
2-0, clean sheet comes back. We're drinking, and here's what I'm going to suggest to the guys. Get a Malbec. Get a nice Malbec. It's a beautiful thing. Tribute to Enzo Capetti when he scores tonight.
2-0. I don't think it's a clean sheet. I think
clean sheet. I'm feeling it.
I think Timo Pukki gets on the score sheet.
I think Timo Pukki separates his shoulder.
Oh, that's. I don't think you can get those odds on ESPN Bet. Charlotte Soccer Show. John Hayes, Danny Brams. We appreciate everybody being here. We're going to be live tomorrow night. We're going to be live tomorrow night at 8:00.
Live at 8?
8 o'clock tomorrow night?
8 o'clock tomorrow night. We're live on YouTube. I got to work till 7, so we won't be here. But we got the birthday boy. He's going to send us out.
Get in here. Get in here and say, yeah. I'll tee you up, okay? Is this thing on? Yes, it's on.
Testing.
Okay. Danny Brams, Michael Volak. Until next time.
For the crown, baby.